Great show today, and I'm going to finish it as I always do with a little bit about sales. And of course, today, what's on everybody's mind is social distancing in this virus infused world we have, and of course, my clients want to know. Okay, so does that mean sales is just going to dry up for a little while, or maybe a long while? What does it mean? And so it's not a question that a listener has sent me, but it is a question that I've gotten many times in the last couple of weeks, which is, what is the best way to prospect and sell in this current distancing environment? And we're going to do a series of webinars on this. We're going to do one for the Gwinnett Chamber here soon, and also for a group that John is involved with, which is Entrepreneur Organization. We're going to be doing that. But basically, it's this: you can imagine in this environment where there are people who are sitting at home at their computer. Most people are sitting at home at their computer with their phone by their side. Now, what we're seeing so far is that they're not necessarily picking up the phone as much when it rings, but they're still letting it go to voicemail like they usually do, even at their office. But what they are doing is they're engaging a bunch on social media and through email, because they're right there at their computer most of the day. They're not in meetings, face-to-face meetings inside their office. They're not on airplanes. They're not driving on the interstates. They are actually sitting at their computer, and they are conducting business that way, which means from a prospecting standpoint, you can engage with people digitally. You can engage with people on social media. My LinkedIn is absolutely going nuts, in fact, in the last few days. And so I'm telling sales professionals and their managers, do not take your foot off the accelerator. Now, be careful. You don't want to look like you're trying to take advantage of the situation, but you should be pretty much business as usual with regard to prospecting and for selling. And you can do sales calls, live sales calls by phone, conference call. Certainly use Zoom or GoToMeeting or FaceTime or Google Hangouts. And in fact, it's good if you would encourage your prospects and clients to turn their cameras on, because people are going to start to crave that face-to-face, because they're not going to have it for several weeks probably. So they're going to start to crave that face-to-face. And Emma will tell you that body language and that facial expression and that change in body language and change in facial expression are so important in terms of having a connection with people. So I would urge you, it's common in business for people to use a tool like Zoom or GoToMeeting, but not turn their cameras on and treat it just like it was an audio conference call. But I would urge you to go ahead and turn your camera on and urge your prospects and clients to turn their cameras on and get that face-to-face going on. You can do sales calls that way. You can do prospecting that way. So my father-in-law was heavily involved in racing, and he used to talk about accelerating out of the curve. If you think about it, we would be in trouble if we were to shut down selling during this virus environment. And then once it was contained and over and we all go back to our offices and quote, business as usual, our pipelines would be empty. And that is death for salespeople when your pipeline is empty. We have to make sure we're keeping our pipelines full, keep the foot on the accelerator, and accelerate out of the curve. And that's the best way to treat it.